Okay, part one, fully autonomous live streaming, content creation. Live streams probably is how I'm going to start. And I am going to, I'm thinking currently, I have a lot of clips. I'm currently rendering out 1,000 clips. I am still generating content. I'm generating pixels, so using pixels as a way to have certain content, certain image data, high res image data. Of course, at first it's going to be very chunky and more, you know, not fully autonomous, but rather just deep learning based and more of a type of automation. I'm going to start showing slides in a second probably, or I don't really have slides, but I'll try to put it into words as much as possible. I think it's definitely going to be context based, so setting up like servers, like several servers, let's say 100 YouTube channels, just based on a certain context. So like the way you would have like a heavy metal YouTube channel or whatever, context based, and then based on every type of context you could imagine, setting up a server, which might be more than 100 millions, thousands, who knows. And then that's definitely thinking about doing it royalty free, so that everything that's on there can be used by anyone whenever they would like to use it, but monetize the channels nonetheless themselves, so that when people are watching, there can be ads, so that the streams can support themselves, but that the footage in and of itself is royalty free. And I am going to I have a rough draft of what I am I want to do. Now, you don't necessarily have to, you know, be too fixated on what you're seeing here when it comes to the logos and the companies. The project, how I am seeing it right now, is definitely a lot different than I imagined it a couple of months ago. There's going to there's some ideas from where I'm pulling. I think normally these are royalty free stuff. This is paid. I think this is a research that's available under certain CC licenses, or that are like just freely available in general. The quantum supercomputer, you know, there's some things that are like kind of vague, like a quantum supercomputer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a quantum supercomputer, but there is definitely going, I need to definitely well, I don't even know if a supercomputer is quite required, but I think a supercomputer is mainly going to be required because of context awareness, and especially once you're going to be thinking context aware in 3D, and generate and have, you know, especially generation, your computationally heavy loads is going to be a lot more difficult, unless YouTube might have some sort of server setup from which I can like set up the server on their server and then implement from there, so that I don't have to that they have more control, that everything is a little bit more integrated into YouTube in and of itself. but ability to analyze and comprehend books, refinement and control, synthesis, movie, and then of course just an auto-uploader script, or just some sort of software that can stream proficiently. I have seen a lot of things in Premiere that are currently, I feel, more geared towards this type of stuff. I see words about streaming and YouTube flashing out and about lately, and I feel like they're making good updates on Premiere, but there's a lot of nonsense and things that are not integrated very well or at all into Premiere. And then Cinema 4D is probably something I'm going to have to switch towards, even though Blender is okay and well and a-okay and good and everything. I don't know. I feel like going to Cinema 4D. It has the Premiere integration, so I don't know much about integration of Blender and Premiere. Maybe I should give that a quick look. Blender and I believe so. There is going to be then well, if I need to do context dependent, there needs to be folders about certain concepts and what they can mean and what they can reply to. But then we're thinking about AI in a way. I need more context. You know, one of the things what would be necessary, I'm currently looking at, not looking, what might be necessary for what I want to do is that I will, oh, am I recording myself? Hey, ha! Hey, 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 hey. Okay, yeah, okay, I almost thought I wasn't recording the sound. Yeah, one of the things that needs to happen is context awareness. So crawling YouTube and bot scrolling the titles and all of those things, and then seeing very common titles and words that are often used, and then using those words and then creating folders. Now in the thingy that I just showed you, which I closed apparently, there is like a thing of context awareness and integrating Google and AI and all those platforms. Now of course there's like copyright violations there. So it has to be in such a way that it is really harshly deconstructed in such a way that it's like those things are like in the back, and what the outputs has nothing to do anymore with the actual crawling of what's online and on the internet. So that there's like it's not really like well, it's not really the output isn't like a copyright violation, and that it's not just a thingy that has a, there is just a variance of something already exists, but that you can with sliders and stuff kind of Sims kind of like the Sims. I think that's where we're going to. And then also math, a lot of math. Quantum physics is something that's on the background on my list of things that I'm moving towards. I don't really, why would I be making more art and stuff? Like it doesn't really matter, there's so much stuff out there. I am going to keep making art, but like good ideas don't come every day, and if you're just doing stuff every day, a lot of garbage comes in. And I'd rather think about what I'm doing and then come up. But of course, I still need to keep up a daily practice just because it's necessary, because you might come up with things if you are doing a daily practice than rather if you're just not doing a daily practice, of course. So folders, subfolders, contexts, and then pulling, which is mostly going to first be semi-autonomous, just automation-wise. Creating a stream like that, it might be choppy, it might be still like full clips at first that just get put behind one another automatically, and then cutting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And then once they are shorter and shorter and shorter, then trying to make it kind of flow, creating some sort of flow, and then learning to identify good parts and good shots, and then especially if like there's other people that can add to the stream, and then cutting after, and I'm trying to create contexts, whatever, and I have it upload automatically. And then you know, that way I want to move towards doing fully AI made movies that without really any sort of human input output, except for example, you might have just the stream is going and it's all automated, and if you let it go, it would just create stuff on its own. But of course, there would be some sort of repetition in it, and it would be kind of like it would become some sort of incestuous, like using of things that have already been pulled from the data, and that then becomes some sort of blob of semi the same stuff. So there's still going to be like the feeding of the beast, feeding of the automation beast through video content that has been assigned with certain names and put into certain contexts, and the creation of 3D, and then making it flow, and then creating effects, and then is it going to be effects that is going to just be put on top of it, and then of course then there is going to be necessary to have like some sort of integration with the at first it might be that you have to put like some graphics card on top of it, and then analyze the video clips, and then see if you can create a graphics card that can analyze footage, and then reintegrate lighting in a new way that so that you can add content on top of it by combining it with other content. And then because they're being combined and merged and kind of made fluid, and like they are being submerged into one another, and you know, created into this soup of things that are you're testing out, and then after a while you could technically like just have a variety of video clips, combine them, and then it pulls certain parts out of all those things to make something new that is congruent, that is aesthetically pleasing, that is capable, and that is also that has some sort of forethought. And the forethought is the part where it's going to become very difficult, because then when are you just inputting based on your own forethought, or is the computer having the forethought and combining it in such a way? And then of course, you know, integration with something like Blender or any other 3D software, where that's the hard part, because rendering takes more time to do than you could possibly stream. Yeah, a couple of hours for a 26 it takes 6 computers to do like 20 seconds in like an hour or something. So but then of course if it's already playing and it's already creating, because it takes less time to generate content based on footage that already exists and that you then combine in some sort of way, even though it's still long, like I think it's now I am creating the 1020-second clips, I think it was 5 hours of, or 5 hours and a half of content, something like that. And as I see it now, every clip takes about a minute to create, which is 60 20-second clips per 20-second clips. I'm going to go I can calculate this by myself, but like 20-second clips, what would that be? Is that 20 minutes? I think it's 20 minutes. Let's see. An hour, 60 clips times 0. Oh no, CE 60 times 20 is 72,000 seconds divided by 60. Am I doing the math right here? 60 60 minutes 20 seconds is 72,000 seconds, or then that means, what does that mean? If I divide it back by 60, then I'm just back at where oh no, oh okay, I was that is 1,200 minutes, which is divided by 60, 20 minutes. So an hour of clips, or 20 minutes of clips, is an hour of rendering. If they're one by one, it's probably less. I think I just rendered a video of about, I think it is an hour and a half, and it was, how long did you render? I can't remember. I think it was 10 hours. Maybe. I think so. But I might be mistaken. It might have been 6 or something. I haven't kept track of how long it took. I do know that if I symmetrize like in quadruples at 4K 30 FPS, I don't think it takes on my iPad, it probably takes 2 hours or an hour or something like that to fully render it out. I don't think I have been waiting that, but again, I don't have a timer, which might be a good thing, but then I need to still divide it back up into more constituent parts. And then there's you know, automated cutting and automation, creating arrays of automated clips, and creating thousands and like folders with thousands and thousands of clips. I already have a lot of footage. I probably am going to at some point need to go back into Blender and render the shit out of a whole lot of content, but I currently have no clue. I'm mainly, you know, making, you have the, I'm designing, I'm like you have the canvas and then symmetrization. I'm not in the middle of it, but the symmetrization, creating it, evolution, evolutionary, making it evolve, equations, making it you know, cos, sine 10, waves, sine waves, saw waves, yeah, video, music on the background, AI music on the background. I'm probably going to start out somewhere in a gray zone where the first channels aren't really monetized, where I'm using music that are like where they copyright claim the videos, and then probably sometimes it's somewhere in a gray zone, because some artists like they can put a copyright claim on some of their music, but then other of the same artist doesn't get copyright claims. which I then believe that is the case because they are using samples that are copyrighted in and of themselves, so they can't. YouTube is kind of weird like that, and then there might be I definitely think there is going to be some sort of evolution where YouTube can detect like parts and where certain parts come from, definitely once, especially once everything from a certain point, right? Because really old content might be more hard to detect, but then again, really old content is not going to have that many sources in one video just because how the hardware wasn't the way it was when they were shot or something like that. Like content from 10 or 20 years ago is not going to contain extraordinary amounts unless it's music. Again, music was a lot easier, in hip-hop and stuff like that. You used a lot of samples from other music. Back in the days. I have to see. I have to think. Yeah, and then what do I do with images? With just single images. Yeah, and I'm creating other music channels where it's a little bit more creative, where I'm doing, and definitely starting out like that, like making a bunch of channels that are just like me creating, and then automation will just result by itself. I already have a lot of automation systems, but I do use scripts, but I'm not scripting myself quite a lot or at all. I do feel like I felt like my computer wasn't quite doing what I wanted it to. It's kind of doing what I wanted to do now, but and then uploading OneDrive, Google Drive, like getting everything on the web, and then there's like the internet connections. Why is upload 20 megabytes a second max, or megabits even worse? Very slow uploads. I can upgrade to 40, but it's very slow, so I have to have external servers and drivers. OpenAI, how are you? OpenAI. Ilya Sutskever, Greg Brockman, Wojciech Zaremba, John Skulman. Enacting the path to save artificial intelligence. API. DAL-E, creating images for text. OpenAI, blog, research, announcements. Did you do something new? Projects. It doesn't seem to be doing much right now. Connecting text and images. Microscope. Visualization of significant layers and neurons of vision models. Cube with a robot hand. OpenAI 5. OpenAI Scholars. We provide stipend and mentorship to individuals for underrepresented groups to study deep learning full-time for 3 months and open source a project. Interesting. Language. I'm not interested in language, but language is important for contextual thinking. But I don't want to start scripting like language, and unless maybe I can find some libraries of language types of stuff. Spring OpenAI Scholars. Tweets, analytics. I need to create something. The world is so simple. It all becomes very simple. I am probably going to I don't know when I'm going to make the next video. I'm probably going to focus more on quantum physics right now, or at some point. That's the way to go, right? Because what are you going to keep creating? I think that the future is creating things that evolve by themselves. Like for example, if you make a stream and then the stream is just evolution in and of itself, or has an evolutionary, you know, if it's or a game that is evolutionary, there's like where does it start and where does it end, the ideas and everything is evolutionary based, and then from the quantum level up to quarks, gluons, leptons, you know, the whole shebang, creating waves, mathematical representations, then the colors, you know, kind of like fractalization, Mendel-Bolber, are all very important. I have another video where I do say some stuff about other things that I'm also going to put up at some point. This is a good one for now. I think this is definitely a part one. I think that mainly the idea is out there because of that, and then see how things evolve and how I can keep going with what I'm doing right now.